Welcome in to the Triple Option. I'm Paul Catalina alongside Pierre Noujaim, Fox 9 Minneapolis, here on the show today. And Pierre, one day you and I will both be in professional positions where we can tell all of our stories, where it won't matter. And I really do hope that we get to.
I look forward to that day indeed, buddy. I really do.
Right now we can't.
No.
Though it would do way more harm than good.
Way more. And it would just draw the type of attention that I'm not even trying to seek out. People would not really probably fully believe these stories, but these stories have actually happened.
Yeah.
And, I'm not looking for attention. This is just the unfortunate reality of my life.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Let me preface this by saying, Pierre, I have not seen The Amazing Race yet. I have no idea what happened. The World Series was on last night.
Yep.
I do need your counsel on this, on what the approval is. I think I've gotten mostly approval. I'm not a person who has two teams in a lot of regard, but you do have like your team and then like your dad's team. And my baseball team is the Red Sox, and it's my dad's fault. He bought us season tickets in spring training when we were living in Fort Myers growing up. So I got kind of obsessed with them because that's what happens when you go to like 11,000 Red Sox games. Like you there's a whole friggin' movie about it with Jimmy Fallon. Yeah. It just happens. It just happens. So I'm a Red Sox fan, but he was a Rangers fan. And so last night, and I'm surrounded by Rangers fans here. He was a huge Rangers fan. We went to a ton of Ranger games together. I've been to probably 300 Ranger games in my life, and I'm not even kidding. I've always enjoyed them. Some of my favorite players have all played for them. My dad is a Rangers fan. We had a blast together. I took him to World Series Game 5 in 2011, which they won. And then the saddest moment, maybe of my life, was having to look across at him in Game 6, watching on TV as they lost, and counsel him like he was, like we had this role reversal. Like I felt like I was 9 years old watching the Cowboys lose again. He's like, it's okay, bud. There's another game. There's another season. And then, trying to tell what at the time would have been a 70-year-old man or, hey, buddy, it's okay. It's okay. Like you're, there's coming back around, and then him to look at you and go, is it coming back around?
You never know when those opportunities are going to be. And that's a friend of mine is a Diamondbacks fan and said, I have two of them that were saying like, oh yeah, it was a great season. And like, yeah, it was a great season, but you never know when you're going to get this chance again. Yeah. You really don't.
Yeah. So you don't know. And, he passed away in 2015. And the Rangers since in that time, since he's been gone, have not been good at all. Like at all. And so I was very emotionally watching with my in-laws were in town, with my wife, watching the World Series last night, just hanging on every pitch, overjoyed, just feeling, those moments with my dad again. So I know this is not a baseball podcast in any way, shape, or form, but I could not be more happy that the Rangers are World Series champions. And it is just the culmination of so much time in my life spent watching the Rangers, or like just getting a phone call at 11 o'clock at night because my dad stayed up to watch an exciting game, and that started out with, did you watch those dadgum Rangers? Just mad. They're killing me.
I was happy for him as well. As an Oakland A's fan, I probably shouldn't be happy for him, but Marcus Semien is just such a great baseball player, and I was just really happy for him and the opportunity that he's gotten. To answer your original point, do you own? Let me ask you this: do you own any Rangers paraphernalia?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, Smokey just bought us all Rangers World Series hats. Yeah, I'll rock it. I'll rock it sometimes. If it's the regular season, I'm rocking Red Sox gear all the time. Right. But I'll wear Rangers. And the Rangers. Here's the deal: since they've brought back some of the throwbacks or those powder, they've got some pretty slick unis and throwbacks. So sometimes I'll throw. If I have one of those, I'll throw that on. Plus, working for a radio station that was an affiliate for so long, I have a lot of Rangers crap in my house. I just do.
Sure.
I have Juan Gonzalez and Adrian Beltre bobbleheads, up in my office. So it's not unusual to see me with Rangers paraphernalia, but it's not like on Monday I'm wearing Ranger stuff. On Tuesday I'm wearing Red Sox stuff. It's like 90-10. Red Sox.
Okay. Me personally, I would not be caught dead in another team's gear in terms of, it doesn't matter whether it's a rival or it's another team. Growing up in Northern California, as you know, I'm a diehard Miami Dolphins fan, so that makes a ton of sense. But all my friends are 49ers fans. So I guess I have a little bit of a soft spot for the Niners. But if the Dolphins and the Niners ever met in the Super Bowl, who knows? Maybe it could even happen this year. I hope the Dolphins throttle them by 30. And I hope that all of my friends cry like little babies if that ever happens, because I wouldn't feel bad. I don't have this. No, there's no two teams. No, you get one team and that's it.
Now look, and part of it was, and look, now that they've won the World Series, I can kind of like maybe let some of it go.
Sure.
Right. He also was a class of 1965 at Texas A&M. I carry a bit of a torch for Texas A&M in that I grew up rooting for them, but I went to FSU. And so the way I'll describe it is they're like my childhood sweetheart, but FSU's my wife. Like
the college thing, I think I can be a little more lenient on too. Because if you grow up going like rooting for the local, D1, I can understand, but you end up going to another university. I'm more lenient there. I'm more, I can understand that. But with, this whole thing, this is a nostalgia thing. This is with your dad. It's important. I'm fully on board with it. I just don't want to see you in a Rangers hat. That's all.
No, you might occasionally, again, but I would never do it to fit in or anything. Or if I go to a Rangers game, I'll wear one. I cannot, unless they're playing the Red Sox, then I'm like, you know what? Right. It was funny. Fox Sports Southwest one time, because we were an affiliate and we'd done these bus trips, and I had set them up with a couple of different local charities here that they could do, because they were like, hey, we've got like 8 trips available and like everybody's kind of booked out. It's later in the season, so all these people have football, like they can't really, rally the troops together. And I said, well, hey, we've got some charities here in Central Texas, Big Brothers Big Sisters and Friends for Life. And I said, if I set you up with those people, do you think that would work? And they're like, oh, we love it. Because the point of the bus is like, you have to bring people from another city to the Rangers game. So they can't just, they're in Dallas, Fort Worth. There's plenty of charities there, but the point of them having this bus is to pick people up who can't just go across town and do it. So the next year, the Red Sox were in town, and the lady said, look, I've been told that you are a bit of a Red Sox fan. I said, yes. That's like saying, Aaron Sorkin was a bit into cocaine. Yes. Like, yeah,
right.
I'm a bit of a Red Sox fan. She goes, well, we've got these excellent seats that are behind home plate. If you want, you'll give them to you for that bus trip. If you want to come up, you and your dad or whoever you want can come sit in those seats. And so my dad and I, in a Red Sox Rangers game in Fox Sports Southwest's, the Rangers affiliate seats, I'm sitting there just decked out.
Just head to toe.
Head to toe Red Sox. He is decked out Rangers. And my mom called and goes, I see you guys, and you look like you're not friends. Like, you look like you're not buddies. I said, well, we're kind of not right now.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Yeah. So,
all the viewers now know, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we were right there. They're fantastic. And they're the seats also. I'll never get these again as long as I live. But they're the seats that you don't have to ever leave if you don't want to. Yes. Honestly, I think that if they could figure out a way to go to the bathroom for you, they would.
The whole George Costanza rocking chair.
Yeah.
He had the fridge. That was the only thing he was missing. Yeah.
You just you just turn and you're like, oh, Gregory, yes, 2 hot dogs for my father and I, please, and a couple of Bud Lights. Thank you. Bring them on down.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, right away, sir.
I actually have a quick the one story I have from the ballpark in Arlington. I went to one game there when the A's were in town, and I don't know what it was. And I'm not even that big of a fan of Bud Light. I've never really enjoyed the beer all that much.
No, me
but
either.
It had the coldest, crispest Bud Light I had ever tasted in my entire life at the ballpark in Arlington. On a hot July, it was July.
Oh, yeah.
It was a hot weekend. Yeah, it was terrific.
I bet you got it from the one. There's one that's always showing the temperature.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can't fully recall, but yeah.
It was always like you there. It's like, oh, it's 33 degrees. That's just above freezing. Oh man. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
No, I know what you're now. I have not been. I've actually, because it opened during COVID, I've not been during to Globe Life yet, and just haven't had occasion to get up there. But and now it's going to be even harder to get tickets, for God's sakes. So, but
yeah, it is.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get to the college football news of the day, Pierre. According to Pete Thamel from ESPN, who is the kind of main newsbreaker now in college football, most of the Big Ten coaches on their weekly call last week expressed extreme displeasure with what's going on at Michigan with the sign stealing situation. I'm yet to call it a scandal, because we haven't had Michigan's full response yet. But the situation, near scandal, maybe pre-scandal times that we're in right now, on this, and they want Tony Pettiti, the new conference commissioner, to act. And basically they're saying, look, we all know what they did. We all know what's going on. We have all this evidence. We've given you all this evidence from our own stadiums. What are you going to do about it? And spend some time explaining why it is a big deal, the fact that there is. But, Pierre, I don't know what they can do. What are they going to do? And the thing is, we all know that they did it, but you also kind of have to prove that this was exactly what he was doing. This specific thing was exactly what he was doing there. And while we all know it, it kind of goes back to, we all know OJ did it, but the lawyers didn't really, they kept slipping up and proving that he did, So while I fully think that Michigan should receive some sort of swift punishment and that the Big Ten is fully within its sportsmanship rights to act based on the rules, I just don't know if they're ready to, because they have to figure out what the punishment for such a thing would be and respond against what Michigan is not just going to take it. That's the other thing that, if Michigan maybe just decided to take it so they could tell the NCAA to back off, that's their best hope. But there's no way that a team that is probably going to, in my opinion, win the national championship is going to just go, no, we're going to take this and roll over. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they would. And I'm glad you kind of phrased it the way that you did earlier, because the writing appears to be on the wall for Michigan. All the evidence appears to be there from the reports that we have read. And we talked about it on this show last week. I said, whatever punishment that is coming to Michigan, I don't think is going to come in 2023. I think that's going to be a next year thing, because whether the evidence appears to be there or not, the NCAA and the Big Ten both need to take a due diligent process of investigating and do a full investigation. And there is a due process here that has to take place. Just because Pete Thamel reports what he reports on ESPN.com doesn't mean that the Big Ten and the NCAA takes that, for what it's worth and just say, oh, okay, well, it's been reported in the media. We're going to reach a conclusion based on that. There has to be a thorough internal investigation. I don't know how long that's going to take, but what I would want to see is a complete thorough investigation. And at the end of the investigation, whatever they decide is the appropriate punishment, then I will accept whatever punishment they are willing to deal out. Michigan's probably not going to like it. The fans aren't going to like it. And at the same time, too, the conference call that happened with the Big Ten coaches that is in the report, of course, all the coaches want to see something done, because if you have an opportunity to slay the almighty Michigan at one point, of course you would want to skewer them if you have an opportunity to, because they've ruled the roost for so long. So I understand why the coaches feel the way that they do, but there's a due process here. And as an American citizen, Paul, and a proud one, I have a lot of respect for the legal system, and I have to accept the fact that things take a while and you have to let them play out. Yeah,
it is. I think the biggest problem we all have with the NCAA and that it's going to take a longer while than it should. I know you have to prove this is what happened, but they don't need to spend 3 years on this.
No,
you have a picture of Connor Stallions on the Central Michigan sideline. You have a picture of him on the sideline with glasses that have a camera in them. You have Central Michigan admitting that he was there, although right now they're saying they don't know how he got there.
Right, sure.
Because they don't admit that, some of our guys that knew him from Michigan, we threw him a pass. like it, because throwing people a sideline pass happens all the time. I don't think anybody's ever thought like, hey, I wonder if this guy's going to steal the signals of the opposing team, Yeah. And so, I mean, it's just one of those things that while Central Michigan clearly made a stupid decision here, like, I don't think that I don't begrudge them for making it because it's such a commonplace practice that if you're in the inner circle, look, Pierre, you could come back here right now, call up and say like, hey, can I get a pass? And because you have friends still here, they'd be like, absolutely. Yeah, come on. Yeah. They know you. They know that you're not going to like go in the locker room and like take pictures and things like that. Like you're just in town. You like to go to the game. It's just a courtesy. People call us all the time and say, hey, can you put me on your pass list? I said, yeah, let me ask about it. And most of the time they're like, yeah, sure. Come on. If we got one, let's do it. Then nobody's mad about it because you've built these trusts, but he was there. He was at Ohio State a year ago. He's been at some of these other places. My thing would be if he's done it, and especially if he's done it for an opponent they've played this year, which they have played Michigan State, right? So for Michigan State, he's been at least one game, I think maybe more, but he has been there, and he has collected data at that place. To me, I think if you want to fast track it, that might be the way you describe it of like, look, we know you did it this year. We know you did it in a game that's been played this year. So we have to deal with it right now. Like the only way would be, I think we talked about this before, if they had played with an eligible player.
Yes.
So that's where it would have to be. The problem is that you can't just make up this rule either. Whatever the punishment is for this is already written into the rules. So they now have to find out how severe it is and how they can punish them. And they've got a month to do it. Like, that's the thing. They've got a month.
Yeah.
And, if we were talking about, we found this out at the end of last year and like now they're kind of coming to the culmination of it. And the punishment's going to be, well, since we didn't get you last year, we're going to get you this year. I would understand that. But the fact is that right now, they're still in the early stages of figuring out what Connor Stallions did.
Yeah, they are. And earlier this week, we got our first look into the college football playoff standings, and Michigan is right there at 3. And I know there are some people questioning like, well, wait, I mean, we still don't know what's going on in Michigan. How can you put them at 3? And I don't begrudge the committee. The committee came out and they said, listen, we can only go off of what we see on the field and the results of the game. So I don't think anything can be done in terms of the college football playoff committee. They don't have any kind of authority in terms of like, well, we're going to preemptively punish Michigan for what might happen later and what probably will happen later, but they can't do that just yet. And I think you make a good point. Yeah, there's a month to do it. You got to figure out what's coming up around that because, December is only a month away and, these games are going to matter more and more and more. We're going to get our first, or not our first look. We're going to, figure out by next month who's going to be in the Final Four. Michigan could very well be in there with or without a loss to Ohio State. So I feel I still maintain the stance of I don't think we're going to get the answer we're looking for by the end of this college football season. I think it is going to come next year. And unfortunately for the players that will still be at Michigan or thinking about going to Michigan, I think it will come down hard. And the people who it should come down hard on, cough, cough, Jim Harbaugh, will very likely not be there anymore at the beginning of next year.
And I wonder, Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport on NFL Network reported that the NFL may make him serve some sort of suspension if he came in. Like, I don't think so.
No, I don't think that would happen at all.
I don't think that would happen.
No. One doesn't have anything to do with the other. In all honesty, you just have to ask yourself the question of, do we want to be in business with Jim Harbaugh? That's right. Whatever kind of moral or whatever stance you want to take with it is up to you. But, whatever happened in college football, there's no bearing on exactly a type of punishment in the NFL.
Yeah. And if the NFL wanted to do that for window dressing and suspend him for the first game, I think that's what it would be. All right, the Raiders hired Jim Harbaugh. He's not going to coach the first game.
Right. All right. And it's not, and it's not as of right now anyway. it's not any type of criminal activity that you are subjected to under the NFL's personal conduct policy. So it's like, what exactly do you expect the NFL to do here if they decided to hire him? Let's say he got hired in Chicago or wherever else next year. What do you expect him to do?
Yeah, no, I expect him to do nothing. I think sometimes the NFL floats things out so that the fans don't get up in an uproar and then maybe forget it. Like they'll be like, "Yeah, well, he was cheating at Michigan." They're like, "Well, you know,
yeah."
They'll be like, "Well, you know," Roger Goodell will come out and say, like, you know, a lot of word salad, and then that's the thing about the NFL, and they're finding this out, and I'm glad they are. I'm very curious to see what happens with Jim Trotter's lawsuit against the NFL. Like sometimes they say things and they just expect, because it's 30 billionaires, that like they'll be like, all right, well, we said this, it's done. And then there are people like, no, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. And so but I think with this one, like it'll come and go. Belichick is still coaching. Nothing happened to him.
Yes.
Nothing happened to him.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I mean, after reading the story, that was the first thing that came into my mind, Paul. Seriously, I remember, I think it was in 2007, I think was Spygate, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around that time. Correct me if I'm wrong.
But there's been Spygate, Deflategate, and then another Spygate.
Yeah, in the original Spygate, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the punishment was a forfeiture of a first-round draft pick and a $500,000 fine.
Yeah,
there might have been more. I don't remember if there was more, but those were the two things. And I thought to myself, that feels like a slap on the wrist.
Yeah,
I know losing a first-round pick is nothing to sneeze at, but at the same time too, Robert Kraft in 2007 losing $500,000, he made that up in the next week.
Yeah,
like so.
Oh, Robert Kraft spent that on massages.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, like, and then that's the thing for me too. It's like, again, how many times have you heard me say it already? If that is the cost of the crime in terms of the integrity of the game, then that to me indicates to me that you don't really care about the integrity of the game that much.
Yeah. Look,
not to me.
Yeah. The NFL, and look, the thing is, Spygate to me was a much, much bigger deal than Deflategate. Much bigger deal. Agreed.
100%.
And Deflategate got blown out of proportion because it happened during a playoff game.
Yeah.
And I have a friend named Mike, and Mike thinks Tom Brady sucks because of Deflategate. And I went, look, he's on the outside of the football world. He's a fan. Like, so
yeah.
I said, Mike, you have no idea the kind of things that go on. I said, so if I told you, he's a huge Cowboys fan. I said, so if I told you that Drew Pearson used Stickum, is he now no longer a Hall of Fame wide receiver? And he said, well, no. I said, okay. Like, this is a very, very minor thing that they're doing. And literally 75% of quarterbacks have done it.
Yeah.
Like, and because like, if you watch when they ask like Troy Aikman or Peyton Manning or whoever about it, they'd be like, well, you do gain an advantage. And they're like, well, did you do it? And they're like, well, let's not get into that. This is not about me.
Of course not.
This is not about me. This is about just the whole idea of deflating footballs. Yeah. So yeah, that's how that went. So yeah, I do think that also because there's a lot of outrage for the Big Ten coaches right now, obviously, and they know better than we do, like how much of an advantage this is. But I do think that for the NCAA and for the Big Ten, they do need to also take proper time to make sure that they're not overreacting to this.
Yeah.
That they don't make it into Deflategate, which was like, all right, look, let's find Tom Brady $50,000 or $100,000 and, dock the Patriots like a third-round pick and move on. Like, as opposed to like doing this whole dog and pony show, which it turned out to be. So,
but I think, whatever the punishment that is coming Michigan's way, I absolutely can see whatever wins vacated Maybe the whole season is vacated.
Yeah.
Which season is that going to be? I don't know, because if this has been going on for a few years, I don't know what they're going to decide. But I could see wins being vacated, scholarships being revoked or stripped, I should say. Future scholarships. It's going to be something like that. Bowl, they're not going to be able to play in whatever bowl game. So that is, I shouldn't say for certain, but I feel like that is coming. Yeah. That is going to come.
It might be in 2025 though. Like that's Maybe. Just it, because of how these things
that would be too much. 2025 would be ridiculous. And and like I said, I'm willing to give the NCAA and the Big Ten some grace in terms of how they want to conduct the investigation, and however long that takes, I will accept that. But yeah, you said it. I mean, they've got a month, before the whole the Final Four is unveiled, and in 2025 would just be ridiculous. Now, come on, there's like plenty of there's no reason why I don't think there should be a concluded investigation by the early turn in the calendar.
Yeah, I would if I were the Big Ten of the NCAA, start negotiating with Michigan right now. If you really want to punish them, I would start saying like, look, we would like you to be ineligible for the Big Ten championship this year, and and a bowl ban, and then we're going to move on from this, and that's all that we'll do. If you agree to that, then that's fine. Start plea bargaining here.
I would agree.
Yeah. And then move on. And then you can deal with Harbaugh and the other stuff later on.
And the thing that really stings too for Michigan, and that this hovers over the fact they got how many guys they have are going to get drafted, 10, 15 guys. I mean, they've got a bunch of guys that were NFL caliber players on the team. So we keep forgetting that. I mean, this is a squad. They've got guys. The quarterback, both running backs, a wide receiver at least, probably the tight end, all 5 offensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 3 DBs. 2 or 3 defensive linemen. Picks. Yeah. They've got 15, 16, 17 guys who are going to get drafted.
Yeah. It's not it's not fair to guys like JJ McCarthy, right?
Yeah.
It's it sucks for him. Like the coaches are telling him hey, they're going to do this they're going to do that. Okay, great. That's what the coaches are supposed to do. He's just reacting to what they're telling him, but he's going to have that following him around all the time. Just like Tom Brady in Deflategate, has it following him around, and it has no bearing on how good he really was.
And that's unfair. That's unfair to these student athletes, because they still, for better or worse, they are still student athletes, and they were, they're being misled by the adults in the room who are supposed to be the adults in the room. Yeah. And that kind of blame and punishment should not fall on them.
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
And I would buy if you asked Blake Corum, did you know that this guy is going to other games and getting the signals? He'd be like, no.
No. He might not even know who he is.
Yeah. I see him there all the time. We never talk. He's dapped me up a few times, but that's it. There's a whole bunch of people in this program. So anyway, when we come back, Texas and Oklahoma, everybody thought that they were going to rematch in Arlington. But what happens if they both lose this weekend? This is the triple option, 365 Sports.
If your business is like most, you need things done quickly. But if you're still tying your critical applications together on multiple shared public networks, you've probably been feeling the slowdown. And that's no good for business. A private UPN fiber network can get you and your business moving at the speed of light. Whatever you need, we can build it. Internet, Metro Ethernet, Waves, dark fiber. We deliver custom private networks and are focused on business customers only. Our next generation 100% fiber optic infrastructure offers you low latency and ultra scalable bandwidth with speeds up to 100 gigabit to run your critical applications. Your connection won't be limiting your performance anymore. It's diverse and scalable, so it can grow and change as your business grows and changes. And with a secure carrier-grade private network, you'll have all the reliability you need. Contact UPN today to learn more. Fast just got faster.
This is 365 Sports, powered by Sikkim365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
Alongside Pierre Noujaim, and Pierre Pickham is next. You had their first bad week.
First one of the season.
Jack went 5-0, and
wow,
we have a bit of a stomach bug that's running around Central Texas right now. And I think Levi got it. He's not here today, which postponed what was going to be a very large punishment thing. So I'm starting to think that we might need to do these like punishments in mass.
Yeah,
like just one huge embarrassing punishment day.
Again, I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I'm here for that.
Well, you and I have been dealt the hand. I gave Jack the option to say like what he wanted to do, and so the punishment was a whole show in face paint.
Okay.
You and I are going to have to do a whole show in face paint.
Okay,
Paul, you got to do Florida Gator colors.
Oh wow! Is that the price? Is that the price to pay?
Listen,
I'm just throwing it out there. I think it's only right.
Here's the deal: I'm the captain of this ship. You should never ask the people on the crew to do something you're not willing to do yourself.
That is,
I made Garrett stand here dressed head to toe.
Yes,
he had to wear a gosh darn scarf for crying out loud.
Crap.
Yeah. Of Alabama stuff. Could one half of my face be blue and orange and the other be orange and green?
I mean, you got to get the UF. You got to get a Gator. You got to. Something, dude.
Yeah, I'll do it. Wow. Listen, I will do it. I will do it for the love of the game. I will do it. But I am not happy about it. But I gave Jack the option. He said, "Look, you two haven't had to really do anything." So
he's right. He's right. I mean, this is I can't believe it's taken this long for me to finish last in a week of Pick'em. So I kind of just wear that as a badge of honor at this point.
Yeah, you've done very well. You've done very well. Well, some of the games we're going to pick. Look, we've got 3 Big 12 games and 2 SEC games because that's the conferences that have the great games this week. And the Big 12 has 3 really, really good games. 2 of them involve Oklahoma and Texas. The last, I'm going to call it the last Bedlam. I know it may not technically be that somewhere out in the future we could have a Bedlam again, but let's call it the last Bedlam.
Right.
Bedlam, the last ride.
The final Bedlam.
Yeah. Final one. That one, and then Texas and Kansas State. Texas at home. They'll be playing with their backup quarterback who did very well last week against BYU. But Kansas State is really good. Oklahoma State is playing really well. Let's just presuppose for this argument that Texas and Oklahoma both lose. Is it early enough to say that if they both lose, and Garrett, get in on this,
okay,
that they'll both be out of the Big 12 championship?
I think so. I think if they lose, then that's going to clear a path because if you look at Oklahoma State's schedule down the stretch, it's a cakewalk. They have 3 of the incoming new schools, right?
Yeah.
So you you win in Bedlam. You cruise the rest of the way, then nobody's in your way going to Arlington. And K-State beats Texas. I think they meet for the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, I think that's a good possibility. Pierre?
I would tend to agree. I think if they both lose, or whether it's this weekend or later, 2 losses for a Big 12 team, I think makes it really tough for you to find yourself in the Final Four.
Yeah, I do. This weekend, though, is Brett Yormark, I can tell you, is rooting so hard for K-State and Oklahoma State.
Oh, yeah.
He does not want to have to sit in Dallas and hand that last Big 12 trophy they can win to one of those 2 teams. He does not want to do it. It's not that big of a deal, but it is one of those things where you're like, I really did not want to have to do this. Like, there could have been so many other ways. 12 other ways this could have gone, and it went one of the 2 ways that I didn't want it to go, and I have to congratulations.
Have you ever heard Jim Carrey tell the story about working with Tommy Lee Jones on Batman Forever and how he met him in a restaurant and he's like, "Oh, hey, Tommy, great to see you." And Tommy, this is according to Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones comes up to him and shakes him. He's like, "I really don't like you." Right. And so that's exactly the situation that would be in the Big 12 championship if it was Texas or Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is like, it just, I do respect Tommy Lee Jones for getting it out of the way early. Like, your style and my style are not the same.
Yep.
And we've both agreed to do this movie. It's a job. Let's do our best and move on. But let's not pretend like this is something that we both really want to do.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. That is like, I respect that. It's not the best way to start off a professional relationship.
No.
But it's better than Jim Carrey like walking around today going, I think Tommy Lee Jones hates me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And now he's told the story. And actually, kudos to both of them because they both played really good characters in that movie. So, I mean, kudos to their professionalism, I guess.
You say that. Yeah. I will, as a Batman fanatic, tell you that it could have been done way better.
It could have, but at the same time, like I don't mind it. It's not like it was, what was the next one with Clooney? That one was terrible.
Yeah, Batman and Robin.
We don't speak of that one.
Yeah, bad. Now, there's a gigantic. We'll have to talk about this. There's a gigantic gaping plot hole in that movie that even bothered me. It came out when I was 15. It even bothered me when I was 15. Like I'm enjoying the movie. I'm 15. I'm not like in my, film snob phase of like,
Yeah, right.
Like I'm not there yet. But even then I was like, it's the scene. And I love this about my show here that we can just talk about anything for a second and derail it.
Right.
But there's a scene where when the Riddler and Two-Face first meet each other, the Riddler breaks into his Two-Face's lair. Okay. He does it, and this explanation is how he found him and where his lair was, is that he was already using the box, the mind-stealing information thing that the Riddler had invented.
Right.
But in the immediate next scene is when the box comes out after that, because he describes it to him.
Yeah.
So how did he have it? And how did they know how to use it in the first place if he only had one?
That's a fair question.
And
that is a very fair question.
From that point in the movie on, even the first time I saw it, out of many as a Batman fan, but mostly I watch it going like, just screw this up. I'm thinking, well, this doesn't make any sense.
Like it does not.
There was a much better explanation than that. You could have just been, I'm the Riddler. I'm really smart. It's my thing.
Right. Yeah. You can easily excuse that away.
I followed you from a friggin' robbery. Like that's what you could have said. And then it's over. But then you have this whole thing of it like, and then he shows them how to use it. So they didn't even know how to use it, even though they had one, even though they shouldn't have. None of it makes sense.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. I may watch that after we're done here.
Just fast forward to that point. Yeah. And you'll see, you're like, wait a minute. Yeah. How would they have it? That hasn't happened in the movie yet.
Great point. It's a great point.
So anyway, that's neither here nor there, and we got to get to pick them. But I do think that, and it's funny you bring up Tommy Lee Jones. We're talking about Texas. Also did a movie about Texas called Man of the House, which is...
Don't know if I've seen that one.
He was an FBI agent that was looking over the Texas cheerleaders who witnessed a murder and was pretending to be the cheerleading coach.
I definitely have not seen that one, so maybe I'll have to check that one out too.
Not a totally unfunny movie and kind of funny in parts, but I mean, it wasn't The Fugitive for Tommy Lee Jones.
Fair.
Very
few films are. Yeah.
He was far, I'm watching this going, you are far from Sam Gerard right now, buddy. you are so far from that. But yeah, I don't see given like Garrett said, the schedule's on the way out. Now, Kansas State will have to play Kansas still.
But
I do think that at that point, if you tell Kansas State, the only school between you and the Big 12 title game is the one you hate the most in the whole world, I worry about Kansas in that regard because Kansas State would have been rolling along. And if they can go win in Austin, something they haven't done, they've lost the last three, and I'm not sure where those were because this year's kind of a new year when it comes to where you're playing people because of the one-off year. If they can get it done in Austin and put Texas not only out of the Big 12 title conversation, but out of the CFP, same with Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, holy cow. I mean, I think that's your Big 12 title game right now. This one is so huge for Oklahoma State because if they win, they've got no one that's been any good standing in their way.
Yep.
So, yeah. And Kansas State has a little bit of a tougher go, but bottom line is they can probably get it done.
My question also is if Texas finishes the season with one loss, now one loss is to Oklahoma, but Oklahoma goes in the tank, then are we what's the conversation we're having with about Texas in terms of whether they belong if it comes down to a situation to where it's either 4 undefeated teams or there's a one loss Michigan, a one loss Ohio State? What are we doing with that? That's my question.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, Texas has to win out. Like everybody with one loss right now has to win out and get help.
Yeah,
they do. They have to hope for everybody else to have one loss so that the conversation, most likely, and this is what's funny to me, is that everybody is like, you have that question of what happens if there's 6 undefeated teams. You're like, it's not going to. Like, it's not. It's too hard to win. There's not, like, mathematically the odds of that. Like, what if I got the Powerball ticket and the Mega Millions ticket on the same day?
Yeah.
Like, not impossible, but a very large statistical improbability. Like,
correct.
Yeah. So, correct. But what is more likely is that there would be like one undefeated team and then a cavalcade of people with one loss and similar strengths of schedule and all that.
I think Texas would get the pass in that situation. Well, but not just that, but they went into Bama and got it, and that brand power is going to hold more than like a 1 or 2 loss Oregon or Washington per se.
Yeah, and look, I think if the Pac-12 winner has 1 loss or less, and there are not 4 undefeated teams, which there's only going to be a maximum of 4 if Washington, Florida State, Georgia all went out, and then whoever wins the big game between Michigan and Ohio State. So maximum you could have is 4. If that's the case, then those are the 4. Like the committee doesn't even have to say anything other than, let's debate who should play who and when. But I don't even think that's going to happen. I mean, just the probability of 4 Power 5 teams having all undefeated records and winding up in this thing, I can't see it. Like it'll be one of those things that when you wake up the day after the conference title games and it's actually happened, you're like, oh, that's real, So there's only going to be a maximum of 4 because one of the 5 that are like left or they're playing each other. And, Oregon and Washington will end up playing each other again on a neutral field. So, we'll see what happens there.
I just can never forget, what was it, 2014, the Baylor TCU situation that kept the Bears out of it. That's something that I will always remember. Yeah. Always.
Yeah. Geez. Anyway. All right. Well, we got to take a break right here. We have to do pick 'em. It's going to go a little faster because I already have 2 players picks on the board because we've got a couple of people out of the studio. Jack's off working, and then Levi is under the weather.
Jack's not even here to, gloat over us about his 5-0 week.
No, he's not.
Oh,
he's not.
That's too bad.
Yeah. So, all right. We've got to tear the studio apart for 3.5 minutes. We'll be back. This is the Triple Option on 365 Sports.
Baylor alumni are more than 160,000 strong. When we all join hands to support our university, we don't just move the needle, we move mountains. Working together, we create life-changing opportunities for students on the field, in the classroom, in the laboratory, and in life for generations to come. So get connected, get involved. Learn how at baylor.edu/alumni.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Pizza, burgers, and Bears football. There's no place around Waco that serves them all other than Bubba's 33. Come show your green and gold and enjoy some of Waco's best food and beverages while watching your favorite team, the Bears. When real Bears fans get hungry, Bubba's 33 is the #1 spot for ice-cold drinks, hand-stretched, stone-baked pizzas, and bacon-infused burgers. Join us for indoor or patio dining. Bubba's 33, Waco's restaurant and proud supporter of Baylor Bears football. Sick 'em, Bears.
It's another time to speak with Samantha Duvall from TexasBeefHouse.com, handles the marketing, and someone that you will talk to a lot when you do call for the great product of the Texas-raised Wagyu beef. It's college football season, tailgating, it's a big deal. People love to put beef and pork and chicken, etc. on the grill. Let me know what you have.
We've got everything. If you've got a morning game, you can get our breakfast sausage or our bacon. You can tailgate with some breakfast tacos. If you've got an afternoon or evening game, we of course got our hamburger patties. They're half-pound patties, 4 patties to a package, and we even have jalapeno and cheese patties. They're amazing. They'll blow your mind. Just that extra flavor, not too spicy. They have a high heat cheese so they don't melt on the grill, and our patties don't shrink up on the grill either. Anytime you order, use our code SICK'EM10 to get 10% off your order of $100 or more.
Where is the best beef in Texas? Your house. When you order from Texas Beef House, unleash the flavor of Texas-raised Wagyu from our pasture to your plate. That's Samantha Duvall, TexasBeefHouse.com.
There are 26 letters in the alphabet, over 600,000 words in the dictionary, and just 3 of them said together can change everything. Let's order pizza. Those 3 words lead to dough made from scratch and 3 fresh signature cheeses that blanket golden crust in a heavenly melt on Marco's Pizza that'll blow your mind. So visit Marcos.com to order and stop by Marco's Pizza in Belmead, China Spring, Woodway, and in Robinson. Marco's. Pizza lovers get it.
This is 365 Sports, powered by Sick'EM365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
All right, we are back. Triple Option, Paul Catalina, Pierre Noujaim, Fox 9, and Garrett Ross. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer here on the mic so I don't sound like I'm yelling into the void. But our pick'em standings are this. Pierre leads at 32-13. Jack, after a 5-0 week, is closing in on you, Pierre. He is 29-16. I am 21-24. I have a 1-game lead over both Garrett and Levi, who are bringing up the caboose of the pick'em train at 20-25. So I'm going to alert you to something as we start out, Pierre, before I announce the punishment, which Garrett came up with this week, which is hilarious. Okay. Jack has said he is going to wait for you to pick this game, and I'm going to pick the opposite. That is his strategy this week. Okay. I think it's too early for him to do that, but you know,
I already see one game. I already see one game on the board that he has picked. I'm already going the other way.
Okay, so there you go. We will start out. Oh, by the way, the punishment this week is the loser must go Christmas caroling.
Oh man,
yeah.
Paul, I got to tell you, I've recently started seeing somebody who is, let's just say, obsessed with Christmas. So if I finish in last this week, I don't think that's going to be very difficult for me to, to do if I do happen to fall in last.
Pierre, we have to introduce your significant other to my wife. I'm going to send you some pictures. Okay. Or just one. Here's one picture of my house. I'll email it to you right now, and you can put this up at any time when you get this loaded. Just let me know. My wife's birthday was yesterday. Mm-hmm. She is a Christmas fanatic.
Okay.
I mean, absolute. I'll be sitting next to her on the couch, and she'll be on her phone, and this will be in May. And I'll hear, have a holly jolly Christmas. And she's on TikTok looking at Christmas villages in Scandinavia. She's obsessed. Will you take me here one day? Yes.
yes,
fine. We'll do it.
Yeah.
It is Cinco de Mayo. I don't know why you are. watching Christmas videos. But yes, we have it. So
oh, man.
Her parents came from Nashville for her birthday. Okay. Every year that they've come to visit since she's moved in and lived with me, they have put up the Christmas decorations. Now, my only rule is that we do not put up Christmas decorations before Halloween. But her birthday is November 1st, which, as everyone knows, is the day right after Halloween. So, for her birthday, her parents came in.
It's not going to work because it's one of those HEOCs and not a JPEG.
Oh, my gosh.
Unfortunate.
Hold on. Which camera? Can I get close enough to a camera? Get this one right here? Back this way. It's up this one. Okay. Oh, this one? Sorry. I don't know if you zoom it. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's ridiculous. It's my whole den right now is Christmas. There's a 6-foot nutcracker.
Oh God.
Who I named Corporal Kensington J. Chesterfield V because I felt like he needed a name. He's just staring at me as I get beers out of the fridge.
That's not weird.
It's honestly, he's standing next to the fridge. Like it's off to the side, but like to me, that's what he looks like he's doing is guarding. He's guarding.
I can't wait till you have a guest stay with you at the house in the middle of the night, go get a glass of milk in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden there he is, like in the fridge, and you hear this, and a drop of a glass.
Yeah. Though that also might be me.
Fair
I forget that. All right, let's start the picks. We'll start, Garrett, we'll start with you and move back this way.
All right.
Kansas State and Texas, both Jack and Levi have gone Wildcats.
Yeah, I gotta go Emaw as well, man. I think that they're clicking right now. I think having Will Howard back and healthy, having multiple options at the quarterback position, as well as that running game starting to click, it's going to be in favor of Kansas State. I just think that they're finally clicking on all cylinders. They're playing their brand of football, and I think this is really going to be one in the trenches. The interesting thing is, can their offensive line, which is really good, hold up against that Texas defensive front?
Yeah. All right, Pierre, who you got?
I definitely see a close game, but I'm going with the Horns. Hook them.
All right. I have no real reason. I think these teams are very evenly matched. I think this one's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be a game that's won in the fourth quarter. And I just think that one of the originals or one of the left behinds is going to get Texas. Somebody is going to have their dander up enough and be good enough to get Texas. Like, that's going to, and at their place. So I am going Emaw as well. Every man is a Wildcat. And that includes me today. So
I'm stunned by that.
Yeah, I really, this is a toss-up game. Almost all these games are toss-ups, really, and one, except for maybe Georgia and Mizzou. But that one could be the upset special of the week. I just don't see it happening where Texas is going to get out unscathed and not lose one to the people they left behind.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Maybe that's cosmic justice, because Oklahoma already has. Kansas did that last week, but I think I'm taking Kansas State in this one just for that reason. All right, we'll start with me on the final Bedlam, the last Bedlam. Bye-bye Bedlam. There we go. Or the Bedlam Bye-bye. I don't know. The Bedlam Bye-bye sounds like a musical.
Put it to Bedlam.
Yeah, put it to Bedlam. There we go. Yeah, Bedlam Bye-bye sounds like a musical that's going to, run for 2 weeks and go.
Coming up right after the next performance of Oklahoma, it's Bye-bye Bedlam.
Bye-bye Bedlam. But, so Oklahoma State's playing really, really well right now. If they win this game, they're probably on a fast track to the Big 12 title game. The game is in Stillwater. However, of all the teams in the Big 12, there is one team who does not give an S less that they could be in Stillwater, Oklahoma. They are the big brother. They know they're the big brother. They don't ever get fazed no matter who is playing and how good Oklahoma is. They do not get fazed by the paddles. They don't get fazed by being in Stillwater. So I'm going Boomer Sooner for this one just because the history in this series is overwhelmingly Oklahoma. It's not even like Oklahoma State is sad the rivalry's going away, but it's actually really good news for them because usually they get their ass kicked by Oklahoma. So that's a win or that's a loss that's going away for them. Now, it could be replaced by somebody else. Maybe they'll never be able to beat Utah. I don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah. So, but Oklahoma has owned this series, and I think that's probably what's going to happen. Oklahoma getting a scare and then losing over the last couple weeks, to me, is bad news for Oklahoma State here in Bedlam. Pierre, who you got?
Boy, you really sold me on it. And in fact, man, I might be changing my pick here in a second. But I will say it was on this very show last week when we discussed Oklahoma. And I said, there's something about this team that's just missing something with me. And they went out and lost. I was like, there it is. There's what I was expecting with this team, because I still don't fully buy it with this team. And even though Paul really just sold me on a Cadillac just now, I'm still going to buy the Pinto. Give me the Cowboys.
Oh, he's going Pistol Pete and the Pokes. Garrett.
Oh, man, this game, I hope Oklahoma State wins. I really do. But I think that Oklahoma finds a way to take Ollie Gordon out of this game, like just, eliminate him. And I think Alan Bowman ultimately throws a costly pick and costs them the game. Give me Oklahoma.
Yeah, not to mention, look, if Dylan Gabriel and Alan Bowman are both lined up to do anything for me, give me the Heimlich maneuver, save me from a burning car, any of that, I'm taking Dylan Gabriel every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time. Alan Bowman will break his leg giving me the Heimlich, and then we're both got a problem. I'm choking to death, and he can't stand up. I say that, and I'm fully ready. Like, if I say that and Alan Bowman wins this game, he can come on the show and talk all the mess he wants to me. I've earned it, but that's how I feel. All right, Garrett, back to you. UGA and Mizzou. Mizzou continues to climb up the charts, but Georgia's been playing really, really well lately. They took a Florida team, admittedly, that's average. Or as the kiddos say today, mid.
Yeah, mid.
They are mid. But they took that team that is mid and put them into the mid of hell. Like, they just pummeled them. So maybe they've got their groove back a little bit. So,
yeah, I think Mizzou's been a cute story. And it's great for that program and all, but Georgia's different. Give me the Dogs.
Yeah. I love of the two animals that are here. The bulldogs are not the cute one. The tiger is. Like, this is a Mizzou tiger to Garrett's like, arr. Or like, gonna roll around and hug you, like in those videos. Like, oh, look at this tiger. I raised him from birth. We're friends.
Right. Joe Exotic style.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Pierre, who you got?
Go with the Dogs.
Yeah. So I don't have time to tell the joke. One day, if we pick Georgia again, I'm telling the old Georgia joke. I'm going to go with Georgia here. As much as it would help me to pick Mizzou and them have them actually win this game, it's between the hedges, man. Like, Mizzou almost got them last year, and Mizzou is better this year, but it's between the hedges. Like, it's just, that's not going to happen. So, all right, starting with me, and I intentionally did this for you, Garrett.
Thank you.
So that you could build up some steam, seeing three people pick before you. LSU and Alabama. LSU won a classic last year. That is the game that made people think, I think, this year that they were going to be a CFP contender. To this point, they are not.
No.
Now, things could happen and they could wind up there, but that's several things. Like,
I don't see it happening.
It's one of those Rube Goldbergs that would have to be perfect for them, where it just, the dominoes all fall exactly as you stacked them. But I just think this Alabama team's been playing fast and loose, and they've been fortunate enough to play teams that are overly talented than they are. LSU is. LSU on offense has way more talent than Alabama does. They have a better quarterback. They have better receivers. Running backs are probably about the same. Offensive line's probably about the same. But the playmakers are better on LSU. This is what Alabama has not. Well, I would say A&M also had better playmakers than Alabama.
Tennessee had better playmakers than Alabama.
Yeah. But eventually it's going to catch up to them. It's catching up to them here. Nick Saban loses for a second year in a row to Brian Kelly. Go Tigers. Pierre.
Hardest game to pick, in my opinion. Just a total gut call here for me. And that's it. LSU.
There you go. And that means Jack will be picking Alabama because he wanted to pick opposite of you. And that's good because so far you guys had been, Texas different. So you've got a couple different. Jack, you could put some distance or he could take a chunk out of you this week. All right, Garrett, your boys who you love.
I know.
Unconditionally.
I know. Oh, my God.
There's your 2 children and your wife in Louisiana State University.
All right. Oh, my God. LSU better not let me down. Give me the Tigers. Jaden Daniels goes off and solidifies himself, getting that signature win to be the Heisman Trophy champion.
Okay. That would be a Heisman Trophy moment for Jaden Daniels, who I left off my top 5 yesterday.
I didn't say nothing.
I left him
Jordan
off.
Travis had the head-to-head.
Hey, I'll do
let
it.
Slide.
Yeah, there we go. Jordan Travis, that you know exactly why.
I'll let it slide.
Jordan Travis had the head-to-head. All right. Well, Garrett, that means that you've got to pick the last game first. You're taking Iowa
State and Ames, man.
Iowa State in Ames.
I think Kansas just has a letdown, man. I think ultimately they are hands down the better team. I think they're the better coach team. But just coming off that win last week, all the energy, I think going into Ames, they're starting to click and find themselves. It's difficult. Give me the Cyclones.
All right, Pierre. Jack has the Jayhawks.
I'm going to do a little bit of a gutless call here. This is just a little bit of insurance for me for Jack. I'm going to take Kansas.
Yeah, there you go. Listen, Pierre, you've got the room to move.
Yeah.
You've got room.
I do.
Yeah. This is, it's a 162 game season in baseball, right? This is you, knowing that you can
myself.
Yeah, you can rest a starter. You can pull up a guy from AAA.
Right.
See what he's got. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go with Kansas here. I think that they're just the better team. Going to be a tough one, lower scoring than probably they'd want it to be. But I was impressed. I came away impressed and not impressed with Iowa State watching them against Baylor in that they're a very fundamentally sound team. But there's nothing spectacular about them.
Not at all.
And Kansas actually does have some spectacular things about them. And I think that's the difference in the game. Give me Kansas and give me a 5-0 week because Papa needs it. Papa needs it. Although Papa's not afraid to go Christmas caroling if need be.
You're probably already going to do it anyway.
Amanda would never go caroling ever. She just doesn't want that kind of attention. But
what if you just brought it up to her though? What is it? Hey, honey, what do you think about going caroling this year?
Yeah, but I have to bring one of these guys to film it, and
right.
But maybe that's what it would do. I just go to Smokey's house and we go to Craig's apartment, and I'm gonna be chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose.
I would love to see this now.
That song is really copyrighted, and I can't sing any more of it.
Oh,
we can't monetize this video. So, anyway, I'm going to go get voice lessons before we go. That way, I would love to be oh, hey, Paul can go.
I would get a snowball thrown directly in my face if people heard me sing outside their door. I guarantee it.
Yeah. No, I'm not afraid of it. I wasn't afraid of the karaoke punishment. Again, you get a couple of toddies in me.
Mm-hmm.
Game over.
Yeah. You get a couple of toddies in me and be like, Paul, Hall & Oates. And I'd be like, all right. Ooh, here she comes.
I was told recently, too, that I'm a terrible singer. My exact response was, you shut your mouth.
Yeah. Hey, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah. Listen, it's about the feeling, the vibe that you get.
Isn't that what music's all about?
Yeah. You know what? My wife can tell you how many times that I'll come home after we've been out at a party or something, or I'll be watching the game and say Florida State wins and I've had a couple whiskeys. And then after the game, I'm like, Alexa, play Pearl Jam. And then I'm like, can't find a better man. Just walking around the house.
A classic.
What? When the music finds you, let it.
At the right time.
Yeah.
Right place, right time.
When the music finds you, let it. So
that's right.
Yeah. Just do it. All right, Pierre, have a great weekend, buddy. I'll talk to you next week. We will discuss our face painting strategies. I don't know, like he's a Dolphins fan. Maybe we make him like Buffalo Bills or Patriots.
I swear, if you make me put a gangrene type shade, we might be finished. We might be finished here.
It's going down then. That's what it is. Thanks for the insight.
Oh yeah. There I go. Just telling on myself. Yeah.
Who did the Dolphins play in the fictional Ace Ventura Sugar Bowl, the Super Bowl? The Eagles. Yeah.
The Eagles.
The Eagles. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the closest you've come in your lifetime.
And I'm worried it's the closest I'll ever be. So
the closest.
I worry.
Yeah. And here's the deal about the Dolphins. Like they have a great fan base. Like of the teams in Miami that have very fair weather fans, the Dolphins have the most loyal by far. And they just have gone from owner to owner of like, we'll do a little.
Hey, maybe we'll bring in Fergie as a minority owner. That'll spice things up.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Jimmy Buffett was. Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Have a great weekend. On the main show today, Taylor McCarg joins us to run over everything. Max Olson, The Athletic. Pierre, do you have an Athletic subscription?
I do not, actually, and I should have one.
Max Olson, The Athletic, wrote a great column. He and Bruce Feldman surveyed 50 coaches, and 94% of them think something should be done about Michigan. It's really interesting the way that they went into it. So we'll have Max talking about that at 4 o'clock today.
David Murphy and Mickey Spagnola.
Oh, yeah, David Murphy, former Texas Ranger, talks about what it's like he works for the organization now, to finally be a World Series champion. That's going to do it for us. Have a great weekend, everybody.
If your business is like most, you need things done quickly. But if you're still tying your critical applications together on multiple shared public networks, you've probably been feeling the slowdown. And that's no good for business. A private UPN fiber network can get you and your business moving at the speed of light. Whatever you need, we can build it. Internet, Metro Ethernet, Waves, dark fiber. We deliver custom private networks and are focused on business customers only. Our next generation 100% fiber optic infrastructure offers you low latency and ultra scalable bandwidth with speeds up to 100 gigabit to run your critical